Hello and welcome to another update video about ADA Cardano. Yeah, not really too many changes to the previous video. However, I would like to put this alternative wave count on the chart again, the more bullish one, just to show you what could be expected if it suddenly starts to break and escalate above 42 cents. Yeah. So at the moment we have a possible 5-wave move up complete. I would still prefer if ADA comes down now or very shortly. Might break a little bit above that wedge, but then it should come down. If it doesn't, then it will become a bit of a weird count, to be honest. Ideally, I'd like to have it come down, have a clear structure, and then we can take it from there. Also, we would get a nice entry point again for anybody who would like to have another entry point after this one. Because at the moment, to be honest, we don't really have an edge. There is no edge, there is no advantage, there is no clear trade setup here, unless you want to trade the ups and downs in the channel, which you are free to do, or unless you want to just buy for the long term. But there is not really, in my opinion, any clear trade setup, at least that I would find attractive. Now, again, for anybody who missed the previous video, I'm still looking here at this 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a very long ending diagonal in a wave 5, consisting of 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that could be finished now. I mean, these can always extend out a bit, but as we're heading closer into the apex of this wedge pattern, a decision will need to be made, and typically these would break to the downside. Now, not always, but typically. And if we assume that we have a 5-wave up complete, this doesn't mean we have to come down straight away, but we have to pay attention to the last swing low at 37.1 cents. If we break that level, we will most likely drop to the downside into the wave 2 support area, which I will then define a little bit more as we get the confirmation that we break out. In my opinion, also already a substantial breakout below the lower boundary line will give us a clue that the trend is breaking. But for now, the trend is up still. Yeah. Interestingly, as well, very interesting, is that yes, we saw various. Let me just go to the 4-hour chart here. It's a bit slow today. Very interesting that we are still seeing a series of bearish divergences here on the chart. Yeah, you can see that on the relative strength index on the RSI. We're making lower highs on the RSI, but we're making higher highs on the price chart. Now, what I found interesting is that the MACD, the MACD, where we also had a bearish divergence, that actually, basically, you could say, got invalidated. You know? Because bearish divergence, yeah, but now with a higher high on the MACD line here, yeah. So this is a strange and a possible sign that the trend is continuing to the upside, which is why I want to put that more bullish count on the chart, yeah. The thing is as well here on the 4-hour RSI, you can see how we're just moving around the 50 line. So the trend is not entirely clear. I mean, it spends still most time in above 50, which is sort of in the bullish trend area, which is also why we're going up still. And as long as we don't have a substantial break below 50, this can continue. So let's take a look here at the alternative count. So this is of course the typical count that we've have on the chart. I still find that the most likely one, but there is one that we talked about already a few weeks ago, or last week maybe, and in the last few days, which I want to bring onto the chart so that you know what you can expect. And this would go a little bit different. I would have to bring in another 1-2 setup here. And then I would have a 1-2-1-2. Let me just show you that. That count would be a bit different. It would also be a 1-2 here. I'll make that in a different color in a minute. But it basically includes a wave 5 extension. We have that on a few charts now. Let me think if that's actually correct, what I've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So I put that into a different color, yellow. So the yellow count is basically a different scenario. So yeah, so I want to have them next to each other so that you can see the difference here between the 1, 2, yellow and white. The wave 3 would finish here in yellow, then the wave 4 would have finished down here. Yeah, and this would now be a wave 5 basically to the upside, yeah, and that could still rally way higher, especially if I'm looking at this here as a series of 1-2 setups, because I could say that we had a 1-2 here, we had a 1-2 here, and would be ready to rally now in a third wave. I'm not going to put all the subwaves on the chart, but just to show you 1-2, basically 3 now, 4 and 5, but here we've got another 1-2, so it's actually you know, it would extend much further. I don't want to confuse you too much, but this is a bullish count that would lead to more upside. It just, if you ask yourself, why did I put the wave 3 here? Now the reason is that I could sneak in another 1-2 setup here, and then yeah, it means here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3, this the 4 and the 5. But this will really only become the count in control if we break above the 42 cent level, I would say, yeah? Because in this diagonal it's ideally limited to 42 cents, because the wave 5 must not be longer than the wave 3 in this case. So yeah, and what does that mean? That means we don't really get our wave 2 here, and we will have much more upside before we get that. What does that mean? That could mean that I might even chase this a little bit. You know, normally I don't chase counts, but sometimes with a smaller amount, just because, you know, when you have a different count and you basically have invalidation of one count and you get into a different count and you know that, well, you know, we would just really start only a wave 3 or 5 or something, you know, this could go up to 50, 60, 70 cents without a problem. So I'm going to look at that. I will let you know, or try to let you know. And it's not a great chart to trade then, though, because you don't really have the great entry points, you know. So that's why, you know, you don't need to trade every chart, and sometimes you just miss entries. But we had one here, we had one down here, so I think we had a few, and there was one more down there. Yeah, so watching that with interest, and this really gets to a decision point now, and it will get very, very interesting in the next few weeks. So yeah, that's my update about ADA. I hope you like the update. If you like to support More Crypto Online, feel free to check out our More Crypto Online stake pool. It's an official stake pool that we launched a couple of months ago. You can find a link to that pool in the video description. And when you delegate your ADA, or should you be willing to delegate your ADA to our stake pool, you can earn passive ADA with your ADA. We obviously need delegations as a fairly young pool, but we're still growing the pool. And yeah, but we are issuing rewards, or the pool is issuing rewards actually to anybody who's delegating their ADA. And again, you find the links and video tutorials in the video description. And other than that, hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.